Hey folks, welcome back to Clipsy's Bricks. And today we're going to do part 2 of the Botanical Gardens build. Ironically, yes, the first video just posted yesterday, and thankfully I got some more bricks. So just a quick recap. In the last episode we built and then mirrored the 2 Botanical Garden sets. So this is 2 sets, only 1 pond so far. And then I also shifted the succulent garden from the back area here underneath the waterfall up here to the new wing. So let's keep going. After finishing up the last time, I went to Bricklink, thought, okay, gotta order myself some new parts, and then couldn't really figure out exactly what I was going to need. So ultimately what I decided to do is I bought a 3rd set. I figured I was going to need most of the parts, as far as the structural parts, the bricks, the windows and whatnot, arches, from a 3rd set that I could then use for building out was going to be the front of this building. In addition to that, though, I realized based on what I have planned, I was going to need some extras. So I ordered some more, got some other pieces on Bricklink, including some of these 3x4 tiles with the studs down the middle, you know, kind of the CMF minifigure stands, but in the white, which this set does use here along the base, as well as some of these other modified plates and whatnot. But this should give me enough with the 3rd set to fully build out the front of this building. So let's dive in and get going. All right, I've run into an issue. I'm going to need to modify this. I knew when I looked at it earlier, I thought, oh, I need to remove those, and then of course I forgot. So I'm going to do some disassembly, get rid of these, finish up this, and then my plan is to do the same thing over on this side, to kind of bring us into where the front door is going to be. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be back in a little while. As you can see, I've finished off the 2nd side, but I was really unsure whether to do 3 wide window banks, which I see on the left here. You can see the end look, versus 2 wide window banks, which I did on the right side. Ultimately, I decided to go with the 2 wide depth, just because I felt the 3 wide depth window banks just took up too much space and looked disproportionate for the rest of the building. Once that was done, I tackled the front door, and so I just kind of trying to create something with embellishment and, you know, fill in the gap, and then also continue the motif from that was on the original set on the end corners, or on the ends. So you get that arch with the light nougat colored decorative elements. So I finally got in the last of my Bricklink orders, parts I needed, and here's the front of the Botanical Gardens all finished. As you can see, I added in some skylights on both wings, finished in the archways, and continued the motif that was on the end of the original build, as well as keeping the modified tiles, rounded tiles around the roof line. One of the other things you might notice is that I actually shrunk the front in. So instead of it being flush with the end wings, I stepped them in 1 brick just to give it a little offset and create a little architectural interest to to the structure. Let me move the trees out of the way here. You may also notice I'm missing a couple of pieces still. Those are on order. But in the meantime, I've got little guy here, and he can be in the process of painting those. So we can create our little story. But I'll move him out of the way right now. And then the way I built this is kind of interesting. So the front of the build here, let me move this back here, is it actually just kind of slides out like a puzzle piece. I just kind of struggled a little bit with figuring out how to get it so the roof was removable, but without adding too many plate layers and whatnot to kind of mess up the elevations between the two. I think this will work fine, and I kind of like how it's turned out. As you can see, I've tiled off the interior just with a tan 2x2 tiles. I was going to do some kind of pattern, but I found it was just too busy. There's not really a whole lot of floor space inside the building, so any kind of pattern was well, it just didn't look right. So I just went with a unified floor. As you can see, I've kind of got some stories set up here. So over on this side, I've got the build a minifigure tree guy that just came out recently here in the fall of 2023, and I've got him acting as like a tour guide to the botanical gardens. We've got a couple of patrons, and then when the building's together, there's actually a third over here. So it's like you have a small group of folks listening intently to the tour guide. The individual here in the middle, this guy here, he lines up to be talking to the I guess the senior herbologist. You might notice these torsos basically came from the Harry Potter Moments classroom set for herbology. I'll see it in the book there. And then I thought the torsos would work really well for being the staff of the botanical gardens. And then lastly, last little story we got over here. Since I added some to my own plants and came up with some designs, I added in carrot. I figured why not, and then added in a little bunny, and so you've got one of the staff members trying to sneak up and capture the bunny. Don't want the bunny eating the vegetation. You might notice it's a little insecure. I am going to fix that, especially when get this and put this down onto some kind of base plate. I have one more scene, but it's kind of difficult to see, and so what I'll do is I'll put some photos up here. So what I did in this back section is I added kind of a snack bar, where you get your picnic snacks, and then when I lift this up, you can see right in the back there, I have one of the Girl Scouts, and she's running the little shop and taking the money from people who are trying to get their picnic supplies. And as you know from the grocery store casino MOC I did, the Girl Scouts are kind of running the show, or the criminal underground of my city. So I wonder what's going on here, and what their role is in the botanical gardens. Looking at the end wall of the new extension, you can see that it's a kind of combination of the design here from behind the waterfall, as well as this end wall. So I did came up with something very similar. I thought it ties in the new or the front end of the building, the architecturally, with some of the design elements from the rest of the build. And also that way, by setting this, by making the front hall one stud or two studs narrower from the main access of the building, I was able to retain the scroll and then continue that forward, that motif. Here on the back of the building, or which, you know, the trees are supposed to go here, with the walkway coming up. And I was like, well, that's interesting, but I need to have another pond. So I was thinking maybe if I mirrored this, it would work a little bit better. Then I was thinking I'd mirror the pond and then have the second one kind of extend out from here. So what I did is I mirrored it, but having the pond then over on this side doesn't really work. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to keep the original pond as is, and then I'm going to revert this one back to the exact same, but have it connected up here so that the two ponds kind of come down. And let's get this onto the base plate I've prepared for it, and I'll kind of show you what I'm planning to do. So here's the plate I've prepared. It is two 32 by 32 stud base plates next to each other. They're all connected. Some big plates just to keep it all nice and secure. So there it is on the base plate. I have it set back kind of in the standard sidewalk width of a normal modular building, but then you can see, if I turn it around, we kind of have a problem where the pond isn't going to fit. So in order to deal with that, I built a second 2x2. So this build will be 4 32 by 32 base plates, so 48 by 48. Oh, sorry, 62 by 62, or 64 by 64. I can't do math today. And besides that, we're going to still need room to incorporate the Tranquil Garden set, which, if you remember from my first video, I said I was going to add that into my botanical gardens. And right now, as you can see, I don't have room. So that's my plan. But I think just to put the Tranquil Gardens here, you know, in addition to this, I don't know. I don't think seems a little boring to me. My thought is to raise the whole thing up like this. Obviously, I'm going to have to figure out how to get some stairs up to the front door, as well as dealing with the sidewalk here. And then you'll see, bring this in. We will then have this pond up here, and then be able to step down, because we'll probably have an expanded pond here, and then basically step down and around to where the Tranquil Gardens will sit down below. And that way we get some nice elevation in the city, and fully landscape this out. That said, of course, I don't have the parts, so I need to order those. So I will probably take a little bit of while to get to the next video for this, but I hope you come back and stick with me and see how this progresses. So the next time, we definitely should be adding the Tranquil Gardens to this build. And I appreciate you watching, and if you like my content, like what I'm doing, feel free to subscribe to the channel and get those notifications. If you like what I've done with this build, appreciate if you drop a like. That said, thanks everyone, take care, and see you next time.